retain effective teachers and leaders. We want to ensure that prospective teachers have access to high quality, traditional alternative pathways into teaching. We want to ensure that there are opportunities to support ambitious reforms, including innovative teacher evaluations and compensation systems, to encourage effective teachers, principals, and school leaders to work in high-need schools. We need the most effective teachers to teach where they are needed most. We need teachers to have meaningful information, meaningful feedback. We need to ensure that teachers have the information they need to guide instruction in the classroom. The fourth is college completion. Pell Grants is the foundation of federal efforts to support both increased college access and completion for low-income students. We fought for a $5.5 billion increase to Pell Grants in this last budget, which means over more than 9 million students continue to receive Pell Grants, an increase of 3 million students since President Obama took office. Too many students, however, who enroll in college do not persist, they do not graduate. We need to ensure that, we need to do a much better job of ensuring that kids actually attain a post-secondary degree. And finally, we need to maintain our commitment to educationally disadvantaged students, and that's through our formula programs for Title I, for IDEA, English language acquisition, Indian education, rural education, migrant, homeless, neglected, and delinquent kids. And that then brings me to the formula programs, and that's the federal law. And I want to talk for just a couple of minutes about No Child Left Behind and our ESEA proposal. And then I absolutely want to open it up to questions, and again, I'm happy to answer any questions folks have. No Child Left Behind, no doubt, changed the conversation in this country. First of all, it started with the premise that every kid can learn, and that's actually pretty amazing if you think about it. A piece of federal legislation is founded, is premised on the belief that every kid can learn. And it required school systems to look at their kids and achievement in a different way. It required school systems to disaggregate data, to look at subgroups of kids and see where are the achievement gaps, and how kids are performing as compared to their other peers. But there are a lot of problems with No Child Left Behind, and there is a lot that needs to be fixed. Narrowing the curriculum. Narrowing the curriculum, failing to recognize growth, one size does not fit all, the punitive nature of No Child Left Behind fueled a race to the bottom. We could be here all day talking about the problems with No Child Left Behind. It needs to be fixed, there is no doubt about it. It is a priority of the President, it's a priority of Secretary Duncan. We need to reauthorize this law and fix this law. And a couple of things we want to do. First, we need to raise expectations for students in schools. It should be a national priority that every student graduates from high school well prepared for college and a career. They need to graduate with the skills to compete in the 21st century global economy. We are calling on states to help move that direction and develop college and career-ready standards so that kids can actually enter college without the need for remediation. We also, and this is going to be controversial, I'm about to say, because this whole thing is about testing, but we need reliable and valid and fair assessments of progress towards these standards. But we need more than just a fill-in-the-bubble standardized test, right? We need to be able to ensure that kids have the opportunity that teachers have the opportunity to know where a kid is, right? It's not just a cut score on an assessment. So we need to do it based on standards, right? That based on college and career-ready standards. We need to ensure that our kids are measured against college and career-ready standards. We want to be able to measure critical thinking skills. Don't we? You can, complete agreement. Okay, no sunlight between what you said and our position. We have invested $330 million in Race to the Top assessments to 2 state consortia. This is a state-led effort. 44 states have agreed to participate to develop the next generation of assessments. These assessments are going to be designed to not only measure how a kid is performing with regards to whether they are on track to college and career readiness, but analyze critical thinking skills. How do kids clearly communicate? How do they apply knowledge to other situations? and ensure that teachers actually have information throughout the school year rather than solely at the end of the year. Yeah.
In our generation before, has every high school graduate gone on to college? There's some kids that are better suited to technical school.
Totally.
So
But every kid should graduate ready to succeed, right? Post-secondary. It doesn't mean a 4-year college. It means going on. If you are going to be a mechanic, you need to have the skills to be a mechanic. You need to be able to compete. There is, right, I wasn't saying, but you need to be able to measure whether a kid is ready to succeed in college and a career without the need for ammunition.
All right. We're apparently now in the question and answer period.
I didn't even get to talk about accountability yet.
So, here, okay. Hold on. The purpose of this town hall meeting is for. Okay. The purpose of this town hall meeting is to refocus the. I'll stand over here. Is to refocus. Is to refocus the debate to make sure we need to turn. All right.
I have no sound.
To make sure that in this, as I said earlier, in this debate that's taking place about 100 different issues, that we remember how important education is. That's number one. I think that's clear from everyone being here. Number two is we have someone from the administration who is here to both share the priorities of the administration and to hear from you. The only way that this is going to work is if we are able to communicate one at a time in a way that will permit Michael to respond and for us to be able to have a good exchange of information. That is my way of saying, please let's try to do this in an orderly way, as I am sure. I am not, just a quick aside, I am not a teacher. However, I do a program called Congress in the Classroom where I go and speak to 7th graders about civics. I have done it enough that if I can keep a group of 475 7th graders under control, I have no doubt that this is going to go well tonight. That said, yes, ma'am. Yes. I'll even bring the mic around. Yes.
First of all, you talk about testing and accountability. It's the quality of the test. If you teach by rote, you are going to educate kids that become sheep. There is no critical thinking. When I went to school, we had open book tests. And no matter how many books you brought, you had to be creative. You had to think. That's a test worth giving. What is passing for accountability testing is not education. I would also point out to you that many years ago, I taught a Chinese student here, and she said to me, we do not compete with one another. We compete with ourselves. Further, I applaud many of your goals, but how you implement them is another story. I think what we need is a Marshall Plan for education in our country. And by that I mean we decide on the goals and then we go about implementing them. And what we should concentrate on is educating students not only to pass tests, but to exercise critical intelligence and be citizens, responsible citizens of this democracy and of the world. And by that I mean having the critical intelligence to be good consumers, to be good citizens, etc., etc. That's what our education should be, a leading out.